Raymond. So we have a quorum. We're looking for Kate, Larry, and Paul.
Okay. All right, we can probably go and get it started, and if they show up, we can make note of it in the law.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and call this to order, and we will do a roll call.
Okay, Karen,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Paul, Kate, and Larry. No, not yet.
I haven't heard anything from anyone to know if folks aren't able to make it. Nobody is. Oh, there's Larry.
Afternoon, folks.
Hi, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Hello, hello. Everybody's out from underneath the snow.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Okay, so next on the agenda is to swear in Jake, since he wasn't there to get sworn at yesterday, or sworn in last time.
Jake, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member and officer of the Board of Trustees of the Geauga County Public Library, Geauga County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect or hereinafter to be enacted during your term in office?
I do.
You are sworn.
You're going to have to email that my way, Ray, for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that gets that done, and then we need to approve the meetings from last month's organizational meeting, the short and sweet one before the main meeting.
So moved.
Do you want to do them both together, the organizational and regular, as a?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we go ahead? You're right. Why don't we do them both at the same time?
Okay.
That works.
So moved.
All right. That was Karen, and did anybody second?
I'll second.
Randelli second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we have approved the meeting, the organizational and regular meeting minutes. Excellent. Okay. Brings us to communications.
So yeah, there's just a couple thank you letters. A thank you from the census folks, and thank you from Mary Haskell for the retirement.
Excellent. Okay. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
Not that I know of.
All right. Then we need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? We have us an agenda. And I know the agenda currently says we're going to move into executive session. We're not actually going to do that quite yet because we're waiting on someone to join, and that person is supposed to join at 4:30. I'm remembering that right, Ray?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just keep on going, and then once that rolls around, that we can go into that executive session, then we'll come back to the 7. So we're just going to kind of skip it for the moment. All right, so we'll skip ahead to number 8, fiscal officer's report.
Really short and sweet. I just need approval for disbursements and gifts.
Okay, that looked pretty straightforward to me. So do we have any motions to approve?
So moved.
All right, second.
I'll second Karen's motion.
All right, and that's money, so roll call.
Karen?
Yeah.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
and Paul or Kate haven't joined, have they?
I don't see them yet.
I don't see them. Okay.
I haven't seen them yet.
Okay. All right, and then, oh, I'm sorry, that's still you.
They're in your board packets, just some updated revenue information. Once we have our carryover, I submit that to the auditor and then they updated our revenue. The general fund revenues went up a little bit. The debt fund went down because they adjust that according to what is needed to make the debt payments. So it went down from 0.5 rate to 0.43 because the valuations went up a little bit. They don't need to collect the same percent.
Okay. And it looked like even though it went down, the money, we are still under what we budgeted for, so we're good.
With the debt? Is that what you're saying?
No, you said I think it was the PLF.
Oh, with the
re-
PLF,
revenue?
yeah. No adjustments needed to be made in the budget. Yeah, we're
Okay. Good. All right, unless anybody has anything else they want to add, I just need a motion to approve the new updated revenue estimates.
You really don't need to approve them
It's
Oh, we
just
unless
an
you really
estimate.
want to.
Yeah,
Then never mind, assume I didn't say that.
it's a guess. It's an estimate. Yeah.
Well,
Okay. So it's informational. I gotcha. That works for me too. All right, so that then brings us to Ed and the director's report.
So we do need a motion for continuing education for Eli. I do recommend that we follow through with that reimbursement for his education for the MLS.
so moved.
Okay, and a second.
I'll second it.
All right, Jake. All right, that's money, so we need a roll call.
Karen,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
All right. I will say, just a personal note on the MLIS stuff. I've got a friend who doesn't work for our library, but he's getting his MLIS, and he just started it. And so I'm getting blow by blow complaints of every time he complains about his class. So I have a greater appreciation for what all of the folks taking these classes are going through.
Yeah.
Much more than I ever had before. Either he's a whiner or it's a hard thing to do, one of the two. Not sure which. All right.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, besides being 39 and working full time and trying to get it done full time, and driving 600 miles a week because I was in Columbus still taking that class. So it was definitely an ordeal. Oh, there's Paul. Good.
Hello.
Hello.
You had a
Hey,
hard time
Paul.
getting it?
408 for Paul. So there's just some updates in here. You know, the gist of all of this is that we're getting to the end of the projects, and Pat Canada's and his crew are working out of the corner of the administration parking lot there, you know, where the grass is. But they're working on the administration building for the county. So they're already on the next job. And so it's kind of reminding them that we got some stuff to do. We're finding things like Patrick Jelly and I continually find stuff that we put in sort of a punch list conversation, but in our response from Scott today, this is just what we're going to do. As we find things, we'll give that to the folks for them to take a look at and see if they can fix them, and we'll just keep doing that as time goes by. We won't do an additional back punch. We will do what we did with Middlefield, what we did with Geauga West, which is like a 1 year later walkthrough for the warranty kind of conversation. So that'll happen a little bit later. But for now, as I reminded them, we still don't have a parking lot completed. There's still some serious issues that we want to get resolved. But we're meeting. We've Kate and Karen have been usually at most of our OACs, but they're bouncing all over the place because Pat Canada's got other stuff to do. So to some extent, I'm going to try to see if he wants to wait a couple weeks so we can kind of build up stuff and then stick with our Thursday. I will send him another message and see if we can do that. Because, yeah, it's, he bounces from this to this, and then we're on Monday morning, then we're on Monday afternoon, and then we can't get the folks that we normally have with us. So other than that, it was a pretty busy month, and that's what I've got. Unless you have any questions.
I'm assuming because nobody's complaining that you and other folks who have been at these meetings, you're happy with how everything's going as far as getting those punch lists looked at and taken care of.
I'll say this. It's the end, so it's like a divorce. And I know that anybody who's going, you guys have done this, right? It's like you're going through and so people will get mad. People will say things like, well, we can use contingency. And there's a reminder that contingency is our wallet. Contingency isn't some magical field of money. It's still from our original bag of money. So we push on some things. One of the things we talked about earlier this week was, I forget what it was. It was something where they said, well, we'll do it and then we'll see if it's working. I don't, maybe Pat Jolly can remember what this was, but I said, shouldn't this be like a measure twice, cut once? Shouldn't we? Oh, it was something to do with the doors and whether or not these emergency egress doors were acceptable for the fire department at Bainbridge. I said, wouldn't we want to talk to them before we did it versus do it, find out that it's wrong, and then have to pay out of contingency to do it a second time? Yeah. So it's, there's two beautiful buildings and there's two great renovations, and 99% of it is amazing. There's going to be the issues that we've dealt with, but we've kept it under budget. We have a much more critical eye for the details because we're in it so long and so much. So that's all. But I think otherwise everybody's mostly okay.
Okay. And what date are we looking forward to have as much as we can have a grand opening in the age of COVID? When are we looking for a grand opening in Bainbridge? Do we know yet?
We don't really have a date for grand openings we really never did a grand opening for Thompson. It's open, if that's what you mean. It's open to the public.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like we can't really do like a grand opening with balloons and fireworks and all that kind of stuff like we'd all love to do, especially after getting through all of this. But when can the general public come in and start taking books away?
They can go in now. It's been that way.
Okay, they can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
They've been coming in since February 1st.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I knew we had done those walkthrough tours. I didn't know if we were just letting folks in now. So great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we opened all the locations are open on February 1st.
Excellent. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Any other
All
questions?
Let's see. I'm good on that. Did we go over everything? Miscellaneous? Did we cover whatever's on your miscellaneous part?
It was just a lot of things that we have the NOACA thing, but that'll be later. I can just simply tell you that I got a phone call from Jim Dvorak. He said he noticed that the NOACA proposal indicated that we had a charging station planned at the Chardon branch. I never heard of it. I asked Judy; she'd never heard of it. Nope, none of us had ever heard of this. But it's listed as this is one of the places, and I said, "Well, this is
This is news to us and shouldn't
it's
be.
news to us, and it's not a good site. And so if anybody had asked us, it's probably the worst possible site. Plus, they already have an intention in their proposal of putting one in the courthouse parking lot or the county, what's right there on the square." And I said, if you've got one right there, I'm not sure that you need one at the Chardon branch that's 50 feet away. And we could talk about where else it could be. And Jim Dvorak was asking me a lot of questions like I knew anything about it, which I didn't. So then I sent an email to the folks at NOACA, and I got some response. And he said that they sent letters of sort of interest to the commissioners, but they never sent them to us. as in the commissioners never forwarded them to us. The commissioners had these letters but didn't share it with us. So we were not in the loop on whether or not that was even something that was a possibility. So I found out some more, and it would be, right now, the next phase would be, and we can talk about this more in the new business section, but the next phase would be sort of a meeting, a discussion, having a kind of a study where we would talk about whether we wanted to do it. And I just said to the man when we talked on the phone, there's no way we move forward without the library trustees voting on this. This would have to be voted on. This would be a contract, a multi-year contract with another entity. But they're trying to do these on public spaces. And that was, I guess, one of the things that was the question was, could this be at a gas station or something like that? They're trying to make this a place where a person would go and spend 30 minutes or so, like a government building, to file their taxes or visit the auditor or something with the courthouse or their job. And then, the library, a park, things like that. So that's their plan. The only other thing on here that's kind of pertinent, I did it was kind of a Lake and Geauga did a planning commission's meeting to talk about land protection. And I went in to see what they talked about with regards to the buggy path at Middlefield, the thing we've been talking about for eternity, since before I started. And they gave me a couple of ideas for some grant possibilities that I want to look into as well, beyond what we sort of, the final fallback position I had was to donate the property to the park district in exchange for them, engineering and planning through the wetlands, because that whole area back there is wetlands, a path so that we could have a buggy path, and then we could partner with the parks and have a nature walk and do programming and all that out through there. But they gave me some other ideas. So I think there were like 40 to 60 people on this. It was a Zoom meeting, and it, if you keep clicking to the right, it keeps adding more bodies on there. So, but it was from Lake and Geauga County. It was kind of interesting.
Okay.
And then Derek
right.
did visit. Derek came. He spent time with me at Thompson, and then he went to Bainbridge, and Chris showed him around, and he was pleased. Oh, Larry Corbus is asking to come into the meeting. All right. Unless there's no other questions, I'll try to get Larry Corbus in here.
I'm good. Anybody else have any questions for Ed? All right. That gets us through Ed and brings us to Assistant Director's report.
Hi. When I wrote this, we were not yet we hadn't received approval from National AARP to do taxes, but we did receive it late Friday night, and we were able to turn that around. And so today, this morning at 9, we opened up for tax appointments. And as of about an hour and a half ago, all the appointments have been filled. We made 228 tax appointments today, and we have a waiting list at Middlefield and Bainbridge. So we were able to help set up that many patrons to get the appointments. And there was definitely a huge need. We did all of that in one day. So the public service staff at Middlefield and Bainbridge did a great job fielding all of those phone calls and helping all of those people. There's a lot more on our end for this year because of COVID. They have to come in for 2 appointments. They have to come in early before their first appointment and get packets and fill out all this information. And the volunteers at AARP have been wonderful to work with. So we are looking forward to providing that service. And we are hoping that if it goes smoothly, we might be able to add more appointments as the tax season progresses. And then February was busy, but the biggest change in February has been that February 1st, we opened back up for in-person services. So patrons could come in and browse and check out in person. We are still doing all of our remote services and virtual services. We did increase computer capacity back up to 50% of pre-COVID computer space. And we increased the appointments for computers from 1 hour to 2 hours. So patrons seem to be really happy to be back in the buildings and finding their own things and talking to the staff. And obviously, Bainbridge opened for the first time on February 1st, and they were able to have patrons in. And the response has been overwhelmingly positive from the people who took the tours and came in. And the staff has done a great job transitioning between Gardner and the new building and getting everything ready. And we did ask the assistant managers at Bainbridge to do the local managers report today to kind of fill you in on what went on over there during that time. And that's all I have.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you to you and all the folks who worked hard on getting the tax stuff going. I know there's definitely patrons that depend on that every year, so I appreciate the quick turnaround on getting that up and going. Thank you. All right. I apologize. I'm trying to get all my paperwork in the right order here as I'm flipping through things. All right. That looks like brings us up to human resources. So, Chris.
Hello,
Rita.
everyone.
Hi.
I have HR actions that need approval. It's in your board packet.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the HR actions.
So moved.
No? Paul beat me to it. I'll second Paul.
Okay.
All right. I forget. Do we need a roll call or just a?
It involves
Yes.
money. It involves,
Okay, so roll call.
Okay. Karen,
yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry, is that a yes, Larry?
He's saying yes, but he's
Yes, I
there.
was on
All
mute, I'm
All
sorry.
right, that's okay. Raymond?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
And the other item that's in the HR area is the educational assistance personnel policy. Just a few minor updates to that.
So moved.
Second,
All right. Any questions about it from anybody?
No, it's pretty
We'll go ahead.
simple.
Yeah, it looks pretty simple to me too. All right, so roll call on that one.
Karen,
yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes,
Raymond.
Yes.
Just quick question. My agenda shows that there was a retirement gift we needed approved. Is that just is
You
that a
do.
mistake in the?
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Yes, you do need
Yeah.
that.
You
Just-
do.
Okay.
Yeah, just pass that one. That's all right.
Thank you.
All
Yes, retirement gift needs approval.
All righty. Okay, so we need a motion to approve retirement gift. And I'm not even sure for who. Oh, Richard Thurston. There it is. I found it. Okay. So we need a motion for that.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, and roll call.
Karen,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
yes,
Raymond.
Yes.
All right. Okay, anything else, Chris? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, and that brings us to local managers report.
That's Mary Baylog.
Is it just Mary or is it Jessica and Mary?
I think it's just Mary.
Yeah, Jessica's on the reference desk, so
Okay.
it's just myself. So I just wanted to highlight a few things that we did through our transition here to the new library. First, when we were at Gardner, we were so much busier than we ever anticipated we would be. The public was so happy to see us there. And, we thought we were going to have so much downtime there, and that was not the case. Kenston was great to work with while we were over there. And it also gave Jessica and Annette and myself a great time to just, the three of us, work together and kind of, really build a team and be able to work together to plan out how we were going to transition into this new building. starting in January, we had to staff both buildings for about a month. We started to pack up the building at Gardner, and it was kind of helpful that we were curbside at the time because we were able to start packing up that building at Gardner and still maintain the curbside services. And then we had to start unpacking the old boxes from Bainbridge and the old office boxes and everything and set up our offices here. We did a lot of coordinating with facilities and IT and tech services, and they were great to work with and much appreciated. And Debbie Schrock, she was awesome to get just so much stuff all together. We've been working with subcontractors and welcoming them here on certain days when facilities weren't here and trying to guide them through things. And just there have been so many new processes that we've had to come up with, just kind of with this whole new building to do that we never really, I never had really thought that, I thought, okay, we could just, come into this one. And it was just a lot of new processes that we hadn't really thought of. The tours were a hit. And the best thing I thought was during those tours, some of the kids would come in, they didn't even want to see the adult side. They just ran for the books. And that was it. And that was just the best thing. I thought that, these kids just came in and they had missed coming in, being able, they would pick baskets full of books and to be able to take out. And they were just so glad that they could come in and do that. So many positive reactions. And, it's just been great. And really all along, we've had very few negative reactions. I mean, one or two, but everybody has just been very, very positive about the whole thing. And today with taxes, we've just been phone call after phone call after phone call, but everybody was glad to get through. And so and the staff has been elated with the building, and they're very happy to be all back together again and working, and they're very happy with the building. So thank you for everything.
Excellent. And I want to again thank you and your staff. I have been on this board for quite a while, and one of the things I'm always consistently proud of when it comes to our staff is the fact that not only do you put the customer, our patrons' needs first, you're doing what you can to make them happy, to get them what they need, but that almost universally you all handle change very well. The things like moving into a building temporarily and then moving back into another brand new building. There's some folks that would have, breakdowns over that much change in that rapid amount of time. And the way you all have handled it, at least from my point of view, has been wonderful. And I'm very proud of all of our people, both at the Bainbridge and Thompson and the rest of the system as well, because let's be honest, this year has been nothing if not stressful and full of change. So I'm absolutely proud of our staff.
Thank you.
All the way through. So thank you very much. All right. That brings us to committee reports. Do we have any committee reports this time?
We do not have committee reports nor unfinished business. And if
All
you
right.
plow through, you might be able to get done.
Yeah, it doesn't look like our guest has arrived yet, so we'll
She's,
jump down.
I think she's, Josh, I think she's planning on joining the executive session when we were supposed to start that at 4:30, which we're
Okay.
1 minute
So
away
go
from.
directly into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what, Mike? I don't know if I have a link to the executive.
I will
session
send one
meeting.
over to you.
If possible, can you text it to me? Because being on this phone, I'm having a tough time getting to my email.
Okay. Hey, Ed, can you send me Josh's number?
Yes, I will send that right now.
Awesome.
All right. So we need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All right. And we don't need roll call for that. We just need,
I think you need roll call for executive session.
You
do
do.
we?
We traditionally do,
Roll
yes.
call.
Yeah. you-
Okay.
We usually do.
By month 12, I'll have all this down, I promise. All right, so roll call on that, please.
Karen,
Yeah.
Paul,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Okey-doke.
All right. You guys all over there in executive session?
So I've sent the
And-
link to Mike, and Mike should be able to get you hooked up.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that from both of you. All right. I will see everybody who is in the executive session there.
Okay, that is on its way.
And the rest of the folks can take a potty break.
Hey, Mike, I clicked the link you gave me and it brought me back to the main meeting.
I will send you a link with an email with the link.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Okay, thanks.
Sure. Yep, no problem.
Hi, everybody. I don't know who's still in the meeting, but Josh said that I cut the staff free. You guys can head out if you are still here waiting.
What do we still have left to do?
It looks like just the NOACA thing, discards, the change in the bylaws, operating 210, and the foundation and comments from the public. Basically, page 2.
I will hang out just because I'm recording, so.
Yeah, I'm obviously here till the end, but I'm just saying there's a lot of folks still here to spend more than an hour. And I just asked if I could cut the staff loose, and he said yes.
Okay, folks, we're coming back out of executive session. As soon as everybody's here, we'll continue on with the normal meeting. And whoever's taking notes, Kate is here now.
Okay.
She is.
Did she
joined
show
the
up
meeting.
in executive, like, do you have a time that,
Yeah, she showed up at about 20 till 6.
5:40? Okay.
Okay.
And you came out at basically 5:59, 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's see. We got Jake, Raymond, Kate, me, obviously, and we're waiting on Paul, Larry.
Karen?
All right, sorry if anybody said anything there for the last minute. My network went down and backed up, so I think I'm back though.
I think it was just quiet. Nobody said anything.
Okay. They're at the stage with my generator where it pops up and down, and that causes my Wi-Fi to come up and down too. Okay, I see Paul, I see Karen. I think we're just waiting on Larry to get back in. Well, while we wait for Larry to come back in, we can probably go ahead and we've got enough people. We can probably go ahead and start back into things. Where we left off, according to my sheet, was under new business, discussing the electric vehicle charging program.
So the key information on this is going to be in the document that I gave you. It would be item 14A. It's the electrical charging station public program guidance. So there's a calendar of timeliness of this. So they had already submitted these letters, as I said, but they went to the commissioners. And that would have been in December and January. And so now we would be in that work with eligible partners to finalize interest and identify potential locations. Should we make a determination that we want to keep discussing it, keep going forward, we're not committed to it, you would just be authorizing me to continue to have a conversation with them about it, to say, where could we possibly go? What would it look like? What would we be on the hook for, that kind of a thing?
Yeah. And after I got this from Ed and I talked about it, I went and talked to my local grant reading expert, meaning my wife who does grants for a living. And she read through it for me. And basically what she said is, she said it was a well-written grant. She had no problem with that. It looked on the up and up. She read it through for me, and she said that the way she reads it is that there's basically, if we were to do this, there's no real upfront cost for the library beyond providing a location. Chances are we'd probably, if we did it at the Chardon Library where they're talking about it, we'd probably have to give up a couple of parking spots to be parking spots for a charger.
Right.
And they would pay for the equipment. They would pay for the installation of the equipment, getting all of that into place. But once it's in place and running, it then reverts to our responsibility if something were to break down. If somebody were to run into it with their car, it would be under our insurance. It would be our responsibility, and we would have to agree to that responsibility for a minimum of 5 years. So it would be our responsibility for 5 years. And then as far as the cost of the electricity, somebody plugs into it, it costs money to charge them up. That would be our responsibility to take care of, but we would also have complete authority to set a pricing
Charging rates.
schedule, a charge rate. So we could say, if you want to use this, it's going to cost you X amount per kilowatt hour of electricity. And we could, if we decided to go down that route, we could do a little research and figure out, what would be our cost plus a little bit extra in case there is any sort of maintenance over that time period. And so theoretically, this whole project could be nothing out of pocket for us other than, like I said, a couple parking spots.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 parking spots, right? 4 spots?
I don't know if it said. It talked about that it would be probably at least a couple of charging stations. But it wasn't real clear, like if it was a minimum of 2 and it could be more, and if it's just 1 parking spot per charge port. I think that would be something that we could, if we were interested in this, that would definitely be a question to follow up on.
Right. We would have, and this just, like I said, would just open the door for us to continue to have the conversations to see even, how many units, because I guess there's 2 types of chargers. There's a fast charge and a kind of a slow charge, and whether both of those would be in place or not is also part of the conversation.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea. I think we should, I don't see any harm in continuing to discuss if it makes complete sense to me.
Except for the parking spots. That Chardon is really tight with parking.
We don't want to do it at Chardon. I already told them Chardon would be the very last place we would do it.
Okay.
We
All
talked about Thompson because of the proximity to the park, the Thompson Park, the wineries. It's at the corner of the county. There's nothing else between Lake County and Geauga County up in that, and it's within 4 miles of 90. So it kind of is a perfect charging potential spot. We talked about that. We talked about the administration center. We talked about Bainbridge. They already have a site in Middlefield, so we weren't going to worry about that. But these were just the quick conversations when I was talking to him, and he said, again, this just would be opening the door to us having more conversations about it.
And I think it's a good idea from a library point of view, because if we have one of these sitting outside of, say, the Bainbridge Library, you go and plug your car in, even if you're in the fast one, you're going to have it plugged in for a good half hour. That's a half an hour that hopefully you go in and utilize our library and our books. And, you're now a captive audience because your car is charging and you can't go anywhere anyway. So you might as well come use the library. So from that point of view, I think it supports our mission in a roundabout way. And other than losing some parking spaces, I don't see a downside at this point. And I definitely don't see a downside to looking into it further. We're not signing on to anything yet. We're just finding out more information and saying, we're interested in learning more. Tell us more.
So I don't know if you need to vote on it or just let me keep talking to him. I told him we'd get to the point where it would need to be a vote, and then that would be authorization and a contract, and because it's 5 years, multiple years, contract, et cetera. So I think we have some time before that happens.
Yeah. I guess my question is there anybody here who has some reservations about this, that they're not real happy with the idea of just kind of continuing this discussion?
Only in Chardon. That was my complaint.
Just in the chart. And I can see that, Paul. You're absolutely right. That's where we got the most cramped parking anyways.
Yep. That's
Makes
why we
sense.
were all concerned.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Okay. So I think the direction, Ed, is to go ahead and continue having that discussion.
Okay.
Keep me in the loop. I'm
I
definitely
will.
interested, and we'll see what comes out of it.
Okay.
All right. All right. And that brings us to the discard list, I believe. We're discarding lots of stuff this time. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there. So I need a motion to approve the discard list for February.
So moved.
I'll second Paul's motion.
Okay. And roll call.
Karen,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Brings us to board development. Looks like we got some policies to update.
This was the bylaws that I thought we could squeeze in for the January meeting, but it wasn't enough days. This was just the removal of the language where it's requirement that there is a liaison from the library board of trustees to the foundation board of trustees.
Oh, okay. So just that one paragraph is just all
That-
that's coming out?
That's the edit, yeah. I mean, I can't remember now because it's been a while, but I think,
That was
Yeah,
it.
it's like one
Yeah.
sentence.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
that's all. Oh, there's.
yep.
I'll
So
move
moved.
approval. I beat you to it, Paul.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Any concerns or discussion? All right. Roll call.
Karen.
Yeah.
Paul,
Yes.
Kate,
Yeah.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Anything foundation wise this week?
Yes, actually, it's a pretty quick report. We actually had to cancel our meeting last week just due to unforeseen circumstances. So I don't have too much to report, but I did want to let you know that our executive committee has been working on some governance and board development things. We're taking a look at our bylaws again, our MOU, and we're doing our annual assessments of our board members. We also have been meeting with our nonprofit consultant. So we've been talking about our goals as far as defining our relationship with the partners and the library and the foundation. We're setting up our framework for the foundation for our fundraising and events coming up, and also working on a communication plan and our recruitment strategy with that consultant. So as we speak, I'm trying to get a quorum together this week so we can get through a few things without having to wait till next month. So that's where we are at with that. And I did want to mention that we did get word from the governor's office that we are in the Imagination Library is in the budget, the Ohio budget, for $16 million to continue funding the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library. That would be $8 million in 2022 and 2023 to keep the matching funds for all the kids in Ohio that are enrolled and match the affiliate fundraising. So
Becky, was that an increase in funding? Did I read that
Yes.
someplace? How much was the
Or 3
increase?
million each, 3 million each year. So it was a total of 5 million and now it's up to 8 million each year.
yeah, because there's just more kids in the program. We have all 88 counties enrolled, so
Yeah.
it's just costing.
No, that's great news. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought I read that it was.
Is that the Dolly Parton one, or am I thinking of a different one?
Dolly
Yeah.
Parton, yep.
Yep.
It's called the Governor's Imagination Library because they took their own logo of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I like Dolly better, so I give her the credit.
Yeah, well, she started it, so you got to give her the credit. But the governor's office is helping us pay for it, so we have to give them credit too. So.
Yep. No. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. That brings us to the second to last. I don't know if anybody stuck around through that long break, but is there any comments from the public? don't think I see anybody I don't recognize on the list, so I don't think we have any.
I haven't seen any hands raised or any changes.
Becky, who's your helper? Who's your helper?
This is my son, David. Say hi, Dave.
How you doing, bud?
He's hungry.
Don't blame
So
me.
am I.
So, well, in the spirit of getting that boy some food, let's go to the very last thing on the agenda. I need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Is that Kate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Newman.
All right,
right.
Paul second. All in favor?
Bye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your patience today. And have a great one.
All right.
Thanks,
See
Josh.
ya.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.